Never open the door at night when children are knocking, because they might not be children at all. There's a terrifying phenomenon that thousands of people claim to have experienced. Encounters with pale, quiet children who show up at your home, your car, or even on the street, always asking for help, always polite, but always wrong. Their eyes aren't normal. They're solid black, like two endless voids staring back. The question is, who or what are they? And why do they always ask to be let in? Tonight, we're breaking down the chilling mystery of the black-eyed children, exploring their origins, the patterns of their encounters, and the horrifying consequences for those who permitted them. The first major case dates back to 1996 in Abilene, Texas. A man named Brian Bethel was sitting in his parked car late one evening when two boys approached. They looked ordinary, around 12 years old, wearing hoodies, but their request was unsettling. They wanted a ride. Bethel described feeling an overwhelming, irrational fear. His hand shook as he tried to rationalize it. Why was he scared of two kids? Then he saw their eyes. They weren't human, just solid black. He panicked, sped off, and later wrote about the encounter online. That's when reports began flooding in from across the globe. People realized this wasn't an isolated story. The same patterns appeared again and again. The black-eyed children always appear in pairs or small groups. They are between the ages of 6 and 16. Their skin is unnaturally pale, their movements stiff, their voices oddly formal, like they're mimicking how children should behave, but don't quite get it right. Most importantly, they never come in on their own. They ask, they wait. Whether it's knocking on your door late at night, asking to use the phone, or begging for a ride, they need permission. And that's the detail that makes the puzzle so disturbing. Why permission? What happens if you say yes? Some believe they are demons, bound by the ancient rule that evil must be invited in. Others argue they're alien-human hybrids, their eyes a genetic flaw they cannot hide. A darker theory claims they are restless spirits of dead children, doomed to wander and seek entry back into the world of the living. But no matter the explanation, one thing is always the same. Witnesses feel an intense, primal terror in their presence, like their bodies recognize danger before their minds do. Take the Vermont snowstorm case. In 2014, a woman answered a knock at her door. Two children stood outside, pale and shivering, asking to come in. Against her instincts, she let them inside. Her cats hissed and bolted under the couch. The children sat silently, staring at the floor. Then one asked, "May we use the bathroom?" Minutes later, her husband collapsed, blood pouring from his nose. The power cut out. And when the children returned, they stood silently at the end of the hallway, whispering in a language she couldn't understand. When they finally left, the woman's husband was later diagnosed with aggressive cancer. She was convinced it began that night. Another chilling case. A man driving home late at night spotted a girl walking along the roadside. She seemed lost, so he offered her a ride. She got in, head down, speaking only once to whisper, "I need to go home." When he glanced in the mirror, her eyes reflected back as a solid black. He slammed on the brakes, but she was gone. The seat beside him was empty. Days later, he learned a girl had died years before on that same stretch of road. The scariest detail? The black-eyed children don't always leave when you refuse. One man reported hearing knocks at his door around 2 a.m. Two children stood outside, asking politely, "Sir, may we come in?" When he said no, they grew insistent, their voices dropping lower, almost inhuman. When he peeked again through the peephole, one child's face was pressed against the glass, their black eyes staring directly into his. Terrified, he backed away. The knocking stopped. The hallway was empty. But for weeks afterward, at exactly 2 a.m., he heard tapping at his windows. So what are the black-eyed children? Are they demons seeking consent, hybrids observing us, or something far worse? No one knows. What we do know is this: encounters follow the same disturbing pattern, and every story leaves behind unanswered questions. Maybe that's why our instincts scream when we see them. Maybe our bodies know the truth. These aren't children. And if they knock on your door, you should never, ever say yes. If you think this was terrifying, wait until you hear about the haunted encounter even darker. Click the video before they knock on your door.